The year is almost over, and if you are behind on your Goodreads reading challenge goal, here are some very short books that you can knock out quickly to catch up. Hello, beautiful people of the internet. My name is Jackie, and in today's video, I'm going to be recommending a few very short books that you can read if you're behind on your reading goals now at the end of the year. There's going to be a mix of different genres on this list, including mysteries, classics, and short stories. So let's get right into it. First, since it is the holiday season, a really short seasonal read that you might want to check out is The Christmas Guest by Peter Swanson. This is a very short Gothic style novella that is less than 100 pages long. So the main events of this story follow a college student named Ashley who is invited to spend Christmas with a classmate of hers named Emma. Now, Emma comes from a wealthy English family who live on their own estate, and Ashley is immediately charmed by their luxurious lifestyle and develops a bit of a crush on Emma's brother Adam. However, it turns out that not long ago a girl was murdered in their village, and Adam is currently being investigated as a suspect. Meanwhile, it seems that there is a mysterious stranger walking the path from the estate to the village, and Ashley begins to feel that perhaps she is in a bit over her head with this Christmas visit. So the most events of the story are told through Ashley's diary entries, and there is also a framing device of someone more than 30 years later looking back on the events of this trip. I think the optimal way to read this story is curled up by your fireplace in one sitting. It would be a great read for while you're waiting for your guests to come over or after they have left. I definitely think reading it in one sitting is really the way to go, and it's going to enhance your enjoyment. I started it when I was a little tired and then ended up having to read it in two sittings, and ideally I should have read it in one, but if you're looking for a quick, mysterious holiday read, this is my go-to recommendation. Another mystery thriller short story that you could definitely read in one sitting is The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. The main character of The Grown Up is currently working as a psychic, though she actually has no psychic powers to speak of and is basically a con woman who is scraping by claiming to be a psychic. But everything changes when she is hired by a woman named Susan. Susan, her husband, and her teenage stepson have all recently moved into this Victorian manor that Susan believes is haunted. The main character goes to the house with her and soon begins to suspect that something eerie is going on here. This is another story that you could definitely read in one sitting, and it'll help you if you really need just one more book to tick off your Goodreads reading goal. It's been a while since I read this. I remember that I did enjoy it at the time, so this is another good one to check out. Now, if you're interested in reading a short story, but maybe you want a different genre, then consider Galatea by Madeline Miller. Madeline Miller obviously is very famous for her novels The Song of Achilles and Circe, but if you're a fan of her, I think this short story is worth checking out. This is a reimagining of the myth of Pygmalion, where Pygmalion was an artist. He made a sculpture of a beautiful woman and then asked the gods to bring her to life, and her name was Galatea. Though this story is told from Galatea's perspective, and the marriage is not so idyllic from her point of view. Again, a really short one that will help you meet your goal, and I think is worth checking out if you're a Madeline Miller devotee. So now we're going to move away from the short stories and start discussing some short novels that you can check out. First, I'm going to recommend a book that I read just a couple of months ago, A Man Lay Dead by Ngaio Marsh. Ngaio Marsh was a very popular crime author in the golden age of detective fiction in Britain. I read this book for the reading vlog I did on reading the other queens of crime, Agatha Christie's contemporaries. I will link that in the card. And this is the first in Marsh's Inspector Allen series. This is just a classic English style mystery that follows a group of characters who are all at a English country house party, of course. Their host suggests that they play the murder game, which is basically a game where one person is the killer, and when all the lights go out, they're going to kill other guests until their identity is discovered or they win the game. Except the lights go down, and when they come back up again, somebody has actually been killed for real. If you're interested in the Agatha Christie style of mysteries, I think this is worth checking out if you're in need of a quick and easy read. It is under 200 pages and should be pretty easy to get through. Next, if you're into classic mysteries and you haven't read Sherlock Holmes yet, then you definitely should. I know it looks big, but that's just because I have the complete Sherlock Holmes in this edition. Actually, the books themselves are not that long, and if you read the first book in the series, A Study in Scarlet, here in this bind-up it is only 120 pages, so should not take you that long to read. I think everybody knows of Sherlock Holmes, even if they haven't read the stories themselves. He is one of the most famous detectives of all time, if not the most famous. And I think if you call yourself a mystery fan, you definitely should check out the Holmes stories. I actually prefer the short stories over the novels so far. I haven't read them all yet. And that's the opposite of how I usually feel. Usually with mysteries, I prefer novels, and short stories don't always do it for me. But I think there are really some standout Sherlock Holmes short stories. And if you read The Adventure of the Blue Carbuncle, that is a Christmas-related story. Of course, you can start at the beginning with A Study in Scarlet, which introduces Holmes and Watson, and that's super fun to read their introductions. Though A Study in Scarlet does take a strange turn, just so you know, and really goes off in a direction that you wouldn't expect for Sherlock Holmes. So if you do check that one out first, just know that it kind of takes a turn in the second half. And finally, in this video, there is another short classic that I think I really need to bring up. If you have not yet read The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson, and you don't know the twist in it, you need to go read this book pronto. Like right now, go get it and read it. I enjoyed this when I read it for a class in college, but I think I couldn't fully love it because I kind of already knew the story. I hadn't read it before, but I think it's a very popular story that's frequently referenced in popular culture. So I was slightly disappointed because I already knew the direction the story was going. However, there were a lot of people in my college class who didn't know where the story was going, which was surprising to me. And those people who didn't know all absolutely loved this. I think I would have absolutely loved this too, had I not already known where the story was going. So if you don't know, you should go read it. It's short, I think it's under 200 pages, not gonna take you a lot of time, and the twist, if you don't know it already, you're gonna like it. If you don't know how the story goes already, do not read the Goodreads plot description, do not read the reviews. hell, probably don't read the back of the book. Just get a copy or listen to it on audiobook and you'll get through it very quickly and hopefully really love it. I think if I had read this in the 1800s when it first came out, unspoiled, if it had been like the book in my Victorian Lady book club, I would have absolutely loved this. And I wish that I could erase my knowledge of it from my memory and read it again to get the full experience. So if you don't already know how the story goes, go pick it up. I think you're gonna like it a lot. All right, so those are my recommendations for some short books, all 200 pages or less, that you can read to help you finish your reading year out strong. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know any short books that you recommend in the comment section down below. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed. It really does help me and my channel. And please subscribe if you want to see more from me. I post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, and I'll see you again next time.